Very funny. Now, phone boxes have been disappearing from our streets and villages for quite a while, haven't they, really? And some of them, though, are being used for very different purposes now. Some as libraries, some as art galleries, some as shops, and in Scarborough, one of them has been turned into a mini museum. Well, our reporter Jericho Keys has been for a look.
When was the last time you used a phone box? As we've been hearing in the news with Nathan, less calls are being made from public telephones. Obviously, that's due to more and more people owning mobiles these days. So that begs the question, do we really need telephone boxes anymore? Now, that debate is probably for another day. But on the South Bay in Scarborough, one telephone box is being used as a mini museum. Mark Vesey, who is the chairman of Scarborough Maritime Heritage Centre, has invited me down for a look. So I'm outside the phone box now. It's red. It's got the crown on the top. Where it normally says telephone box, it says history box. History box, world's smallest heritage centre. I'm going in.
Britain's first funicular
Morning.
railway,
Hello.
otherwise known as Cliff Lift, started running here. In 1880, huge storms wrecked many ships along this coast and many mariners drowned. In 1907, Scarborough was the 5th largest herring port in the country. In 1908, the Marine Drive opened.
This is pretty special, Mark. Me and you sat in a phone box having a history lesson.
Well, at least it's warmer in here than it is outside. Yeah,
It is indeed. Talk to me about the idea behind this, because this is fantastic. We look on all the windows.
As well as the Titanic's
There's archive photos, the explanations underneath. We've got a voice above us giving us a step-by-step guide of the history of Scarborough. This is incredible.
yeah. The idea came really from a local resident who lives opposite, and the phone box itself was becoming very run down. It was very rusty, very faded, and in fact, BT were going to close it down anyway because nobody's using phone boxes anymore. So she contacted us and said, "Look, this is a historical bit of the landscape. A red phone box. They're all disappearing. What could we do?" We contacted BT, and it appears you can adopt a phone box for £1. So it means you take responsibility for it. You have to repair it, paint it, look after it. And then the idea developed really since the Tourist Information Centre closed here a year or two ago, that we could have a small mini history centre with information in that's open every day of the year. So that's how it started really. So we restored the phone box last summer, and then put up what you can see now, which is a lot of pictures of Scarborough in its heyday, with the herring fishing, the tuna fishing, and the boat building. And then we got a local poet to record this bit of historical information you can hear in the background. I mean, it's been open really since the end of last summer, and people really like it. So it's got a lot of reviews on TripAdvisor, and it seems to be doing very well.
Mark, it is fantastic, because I've worked in Scarborough all the time. I've walked past this, and I have just walked past it. I haven't realised it's actually been here. You know, the reaction must be, you're saying on TripAdvisor everyone's absolutely loving it, and the locals must feel the same as well, because it is very much going back in time, looking at the archive footage on the windows.
That's right. I think, I mean, the harbour itself these days, the fishing industry's, almost gone, the white fishing industry. There's still some shellfish there. But Scarborough was the 5th largest herring port in the country, the 7th largest shipbuilding port in the country in times gone by. And that seems to have been forgotten. So these photos really remind us of what it was like. My particular favourite is this one here, which is, you've got the old shipyard on the right-hand side, and what was the Lancaster Inn just outside the phone box. And there's a chap standing in the middle, and he is literally where this phone box is now.
Wow.
So that's probably 150 years ago. He didn't realise he'd be standing where the phone box would be. But yeah, Scarborough's got a wonderful history to tell. The tourists love it, the locals love it. So this is a facility that can be used all year round when the Maritime Heritage Centre isn't open. We open sort of 8 hours a day, but not every day of the year. So,
And I think what's really impressive as well, it being on the South Bay, that all the pictures are of all ships and the harbour.
That's right. We got a little bit from the bombardment as well in 1914 and the bombing in World War II. So we've tried to cover as much of the history as we can, the main highlights of the history. And obviously people can look up more stuff online on our website, or they can come and visit the Maritime Heritage Centre when we're open on our normal hours.
And what I think's great about this as well, you can only get 2 people in here, and it's free to come in.
It's free to come in all the time. That's right, open all year round. You do see families. I think the record for the number of people in a phone box is 12. I don't think I'd like to try that.
And how's it been perceived? Because I know we've got a security camera in the corner, so is crime a worry?
No, not particularly. I mean, all the residents here helped out with the painting and chipped in money towards the restoration. So we've got some new shops just behind us, actually, a new shop opening up here. So they're keeping an eye on it. There's the crab stalls opposite. So I think it's well looked over and looked after, really. And we've not had any problems with vandalism or anything like that. So that's good that the community have adopted it in a way.
What a great thing. Being on the South Bay, keeping out of the cold, and also finding out the history about Scarborough. I've got one question to ask you, Mark, which I'm sure a lot of people will want to know after visiting this one on South Bay. Are you going to adopt any more?
Well, we haven't heard anything from BT about any other phone boxes being up for adoption, but we'll certainly keep our eye open in case there are. Yeah.
Mark Vesey, thank you very much for talking on BBC Radio York, showing me around this phone box, which is a mini museum. It's fantastic. Let's get back to learning then, shall we?
Thank you.
But this was destroyed by a storm in 1905. In 1875, Britain's first funicular railway, otherwise known as Cliff Lift, started running here.
It's a brilliant idea, absolute brilliant idea. Jericho Keys talking to Mark Vesey, who's chairman of the Scarborough Maritime Heritage Centre, about a mini museum in a phone box. What a good idea.
Weekday mornings from 6.
Georgie at breakfast.